See, the problem is how new buildings automatically get a bad rep because of gentrification when, in reality, the actual data shows that they change neighborhoods mostly for the better. And while people are busy arguing about things like gentrification and displacement, rich people like NBA star Steph Curry get away with blocking affordable housing. Check this out.
But of course, it's the same hypocrisy we get when it comes to human rights abuses around the world. Everybody likes to howl about oppression in this country, which peaked 200 years ago, while throwing a no-look press at real-time oppression in China. No one undermines our faith in any of these social justice initiatives more than the people pushing them. And that's all this is. He paid what I think the price is like $8.5 million an acre. And to your point, it's because he didn't want to be around regular people.
Of course.
But that's the scam over and over and over again. We're not the classist D-bag that we're being portrayed to be. You know whose party is?
Hey now.
I got a little itch. I'm sorry. I got a little itch. That's weird. I wasn't talking. I just had an itch.
Poor Larry.
I just had an itch.
You're attacking libertarians
I was
now?
just, I just had an itch.
That flew right by me.
Kevin. So yeah, all the rich fancy pants who want to tell us how to live.
Of course they do.
They're always like, but not me. I don't live by those rules, John Kerry, Prince Harry.
It's a tale as old as time. Nobody wants, affordable housing in their community when it comes up for it.
But really, guys, too many are getting confused, and you just know that these rich people are just having the time of their lives about it. So the question we're going to answer today is, does the construction of a new building change who lives in the neighborhood? Does gentrification equal displacement? Because I have to tell you guys, regardless of what people are saying against this on TikTok, how they all look the same, how they're going to displace a lot of low-income families, a lot of those buildings are actually affordable housing. I've been checking out apartments, and I do notice a very similar style between all of these buildings and affordable apartments. That's because they're working with limited options to really make it affordable. Makes sense, right? I just find it really annoying that so many people will just jump onto a hate train just cuz and without actually doing research. So yeah, let's get into it today. The big question in American city politics today is whether building more homes is a good idea. Everyone agrees that we need more homes, but no one wants them near their homes. You know what I mean? People are worried about changes, and one big concern is that building new homes could make things worse instead of better, like make rents higher and push people out of the neighborhood. For some city folks, this idea makes sense. New apartment buildings are a sign of gentrification. They bring in rich people who bring in new amenities, but this can lead to old residents and businesses being forced to leave. While experts say that building new homes is the only way to make rents lower in expensive areas, there's a debate about what actually happens locally. Some studies say that building new homes make rents go up nearby, while others say it makes rents go down nearby. That question is also at the heart of a gigantic study published this month by researchers with the Urban Displacement Project, which focuses on the Bay Area, where the addition of 3 new jobs for every 1 new houses has, in recent years, given the region some of the highest home prices in the country. Comparing 2 decades of new apartments against the most detailed displacement data ever assembled, the researchers concluded that new buildings are associated with more people moving in and out of the neighborhoods. But wait, before you get those pitchforks and torches, you guys, that phenomenon, which housing researchers call churn, is a natural feature of urban life and not necessarily a bad one. Think of the new parents who may need bigger places to stay and empty nesters needing a smaller one, workers needing to move closer to jobs and students to school, couples move in together or move out. Most of the time, churn means people are making life choices about how to better meet their own needs. Speaking of, don't forget to satisfy your need for more financial information and analysis like this. Subscribe to the channel and tap that notification bell. That way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. Appreciate you guys watching, and thank you for always lighting up the like button. So yeah, according to the study, after neighborhoods experienced new construction, churn increased at almost all income levels, with more people moving in and out, except for the highest income residents who became less likely to leave. But what's surprising and something that those TikTokers usually don't mention is that after new buildings were built, residents of lower income levels also continue to move into the neighborhood in great numbers. Even residents with low income or moderate incomes, they were more likely to move in than move out in the 4 years after a new building went up. While high-income residents fare the best, new construction appears to let more people into the neighborhood up and down the income spectrum. Those trends flip only for the extremely low-income residents who are slightly more likely to move out than in after new apartments get built. But even for them, in migration increased slightly and migration out rose by just 1 or 2 percentage points. If in a normal year, 10% of low-income households move out, that number rose to 12% after new buildings showed up in the neighborhood. So to answer our question about gentrification, displacement after new construction is real, researchers conclude, but it is very, very small. So yeah, people shouldn't be too quick to judge. I just heard about a building with the typical gentrification architecture, but it was really built on land donated by a church, which turned it into affordable housing apartments, and the bottom level has a school that teaches culinary trade schools to low-income folks. It's super impressive, and I point it out every time that I'm walking around with out-of-towners. I love this type of project so much, and it's so badly needed everywhere. So yeah, some churn is normal. Lots and lots of people move into and out of neighborhoods every single year, even people who don't make a lot of money. When we talk about gentrification or displacement, we're talking about movements that occur on the margin of all of that churn that marks the baseline of city life. And to address the concern about displacement in extremely low income levels, they recommend interventions like just cause eviction laws, rent stabilization, or direct project-based subsidy. Those policies, the researchers found, actually help people stay put. Actually, new housing, even for higher income tenants, could be a good thing. This isn't just to prevent wealthier folks from moving into older buildings and displacing current residents. It's also because over time, if we keep building more and more, those new buildings become less popular. They'll get a bit worn out, and without doing anything special, they'll turn into affordable housing options for the future. Kind of makes sense if you think about it, right guys? Seriously, who would have thought that the solution to a housing shortage was to build more housing? To many people, new home construction is synonymous with gentrification, but a review of recent research into the link between new housing production and apartment affordability offers new evidence that the rules of supply and demand, they do apply to housing. Building more can slow rent growth in cities and free up more affordable vacant units in surrounding neighborhoods without causing significant displacement. The study from New York University's Furman Center addresses the critics who doubt the idea of increasing the number of homes available. It cites dozens of studies and explains how their findings consistently debunk or complicate concerns that building more housing could do more harm than good to housing affordability. Now, one big argument is whether making more apartments for the regular market, not subsidized or controlled, makes nearby rents go up or down. The study backs up past research that shows building new homes can actually bring rents down, at least when you look at whole cities or regions. For example, in Auckland, New Zealand, they challenged the rules to allow more homes, and after about 6 years, rents for 3-bedroom units were much lower compared to similar areas where they didn't allow more housing. They upped their housing stock by about 4.1%, and rents for 3-bedroom units citywide were 26 to 33% lower than in similar urban commuting zones. Another study conducted in Germany found that when they built more houses last year, rents went down a bit, and having regular market rate homes helped renters at different income levels. When yearly new housing supply increased by 1%, average rents fell by 0.2%, and that building market rate housing eases cost burdens for renters across the income spectrum. Sure, rents still go up in expensive cities worldwide, even when they build more homes. But the study suggests that without those new homes, rents would have gone up even more. As for displacement, recent studies show that when new homes are built, the neighborhood often changes. Richer and more educated people usually move in. But the worry that this will force out lower income residents is a bit overblown, at least if you ask the researchers. In reality, new construction either mitigates displacement or elevates it quite modestly. So either it lessens the problem or only slightly increases it. A study in 2021 at UC Berkeley looked at San Francisco and found that although new construction brought more rich people into the area, the risk of people being pushed out and getting eviction notices in rent-controlled buildings nearby actually went down. One way new housing helps is by starting a chain reaction. Building new homes can lead to people moving around, freeing up places for lower-income renters. According to new studies, when researchers looked at data from 52,000 people in 12 big U.S. cities, they found that new apartments attracted people from wealthier areas, but the people moving into their old homes were likely to come from lower-income areas. This kept going, and by the time you got to the 6th apartment in the chain, 40% of the tenants were from low-income areas. That's pretty powerful evidence that it's not all people from out of town and that it reaches people from low-income neighborhoods at least pretty quickly. Honestly, I think the bigger problem is how some very vocal groups of homeowners try to fight the affordable housing push, something media outlets call the war against renters. So yeah, it's not just Stephen Curry. Vocal groups of homeowners, they're saying that they're fearful of what changes could mean for their communities. More and more, they're fighting back with lawsuits, referendums, appeals to state representatives, and recall elections in a battle to stave off multifamily housing in their largely suburban neighborhoods. For a long time, homeowners have been resisting new buildings, people even having a saying for it, "not in my backyard," or NIMBY, NIMBY. Recently, the fights have gotten even louder, especially with more apartments being outside of city centers. These debates are even more urgent now because rising home prices are making it hard for middle-class workers to find homes. And it's also causing more people to be homeless, according to those who support affordable housing. For the last 15 years, we haven't been building enough new homes and apartments to meet the demand. Also, partly because of the lasting impact of the 2008 housing market crash. Estimates say the US doesn't have enough homes, with a shortage of more than 4 million. So yeah, maybe it's not the new constructions that are the problem here. What do you think? Should we pick this up again in another video? Drop a comment down below and I'll see you on the next one.